Navigating to Tesla Supercharger.
Good morning and happy Sunday here from beautiful Ontario, Canada. Not too far north of Barrie, where I live. And as you heard her say, we are on our way to the Tesla Supercharger in North Bay, Ontario. Why are we going to North Bay, Ontario? As you may or may not know, GM does not have access to the Tesla Supercharger network as of yet. Ford and Rivian have access. GM's access is imminent. It was supposed to be summer 2024. We are pretty deep into summer now. It has not happened yet. I've heard some rumblings that it is imminent. Could be any day, could be any week. We'll see. But in the meantime, our only option for Tesla Superchargers is their Magic Dock locations. Magic Dock being a fancy word for a CCS adapter that is built into the charging handle, charging base, whatever you want to call it. So at select locations, and you can find them on the map in the Tesla app, they will have Magic Docks, and any electric vehicle with a CCS port, so it would be everything except for a Nissan Leaf, I guess, can charge at these Magic Dock equipped Tesla Superchargers. So in Ontario, there's only 2. They started to roll this out, and before they announced that any other manufacturers would be getting Supercharger access, they started rolling out the Magic Docks. And then once the announcement started to come that other brands would be able to access with an adapter, it seems like they kind of stopped the rollout of Magic Dock locations, at least here in Canada. So we've only had 2 equipped here in Ontario, and they are both in the north, not the far north of Ontario, but north of me anyway. So one is in North Bay and one is in Deep River. So the closest one to me, I live in Barrie. The closest one is North Bay, about 250 kilometers. So I'm going to go up to North Bay and see what the charging is like. There's been a lot of talk about the Equinox and charging. Some saying that you need a 350 kilowatt charger in order to hit the 150 kilowatt that the Equinox can charge. 150 is the max for the Equinox, or thereabouts. So common sense would tell most people that, well, if I go to a 150 kilowatt charger, I should get the 150. That doesn't seem to be the case most of the time. And what seems to be needed is a 350 kilowatt charger, or any charger with higher amperage, because apparently the amperage of the Equinox pack is low. So you need a higher amperage to get that full 150. So Tesla Superchargers are kind of in the middle. They are 250 kilowatt. So we're going to go for a Sunday drive here, try that out. There is the odd video out there with the Equinox and Tesla Superchargers, but not too many. So I decided to do one for you. It's a long weekend here in Ontario, so I'm just taking a leisurely Sunday drive. I charged up to 60% last night, thinking that would be enough, more than enough to get me to North Bay. Right now, the GPS when I left said that I was going to arrive with minus 6%, and it's now at minus 4%, so we're going in the right direction. But if it doesn't start getting better soon, I may have to look for alternatives to duck off the highway here and look for something else. So I will keep you posted. So we did have to duck on off the highway here near, I believe we're near Washago. I was going to arrive at the Supercharger with like minus 3 or 4%, and not knowing the vehicle that well, I didn't want to risk being stuck out on the highway on my first little adventure. So we are at a 50 kilowatt flow station here, and we are getting 37 kilowatts. So we're just going to need a few minutes here. It already says that we're going to arrive at 0%. So once that gets up to about 5, I think I will feel comfortable to finish the trip. So here charging at this 50 kilowatt in Washago, and soon after I plugged in, it said I would arrive in North Bay with 0%. Well, that has slowly gone back down to minus 3%. So that's interesting. It should be going back to 0 and then into the pluses, and I just lost another, so now minus 4%. Very interesting. It's going the wrong way. 200 kilometers away from destination, I'm at 56%. Okay, so silly me, I was misreading the display. I thought the little dot here, I thought that was a negative. That's actually a positive, but it's still in red, so that's why I thought it was negative. So it says we're going to arrive with 5% now. So I'll be pretty comfortable to take off here soon. These are things you learn about a new car. I kind of wanted to do this road trip as a precursor to taking an actual 8 or 9 road trip, or 8 or 9 hour road trip like we do sometimes. So learn new things. That is not a negative. It's just red because I don't know at what point. So yeah, it just went to 6. I don't know at what point it turns green. I'm assuming maybe 10% or something, but I'm pretty comfortable taking off with a 5 or 6% cushion, and we'll see what happens down the road. So we're back on the road after that little charge stop. No issues. Current arrival is 4% in 1 hour and 41 minutes, 176 kilometers. The gasometer has been bouncing around 2 to 4%. So we're cruising along here, very comfortable, quiet, Super Cruise doing its thing. And it is 27 degrees, a beautiful day here in Ontario. So the gasometer has finally settled down, and it has us with an arrival of 7%. So I bumped my speed up from, I was doing about the limit, 100. I've slowly bumped it up to 115. And as long as the gasometer stays settled down around 7, I'd like to arrive as low as possible, but still have a little bit of reserve. And get a good charging test at the Tesla Supercharger in North Bay. We are less than 1 hour from our destination in North Bay. Gasometer is at a solid 7%, so I bumped my speed up to 120 kilometers an hour. I have put the AC down to 21, and the gasometer is staying rock solid. So that charge stop I did do was probably unnecessary. I figured at the end of the day it would be, but not knowing the vehicle, it was probably good that I did it, but probably not needed. I would have probably arrived at the Supercharger with like 2% or something like that. But, oh well, it is what it is. Another thing I want to talk about is when I put the Tesla Supercharger in as a destination, the GPS said that the connector at that charger is not compatible with this vehicle, which is not correct. So it obviously doesn't know that it has a Magic Dock, CCS connector. Ooh, we got a trailer over on its side here on the highway. That's not good. was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I have a feeling that because the car doesn't think that the charger is compatible, that it may not preheat the battery. So I guess with about a half an hour to go, I can go in here and I can manually start preconditioning the battery. So we'll see if it does it on its own. I don't even know if it does it, if it notifies you somehow that it's starting to precondition, but we will find out. I'll check back in with you at the 30-minute mark and we'll start the preconditioning if it hasn't started already. And yeah, just cruising along here on Super Cruise. Haven't touched the wheel in probably a half an hour. So we are at the 30-minute mark to arrival. 6% arrival. We've been doing a steady 120 and a 100, which is fine. The police won't bother you for 20 over here in Ontario. Not in 100 anyway. If you haven't seen an auto lane change on Super Cruise, all you have to do is just tap the signal up, and there you go. Auto lane change. So at this point, because I don't see any indication of preconditioning happening, I don't know when that starts, if it tells you or not, so we will go to charging here, fast charge prep, and we'll hit start and see what happens. Ready to plug in at any time. Charging, getting ready for fast charging, you can plug in at any time. So I don't know if that means that it's ready. Well, it says stop, so it must be doing something. No indication over here that it's doing anything, but we'll assume that it's doing something, and we will get back to you in 30 minutes when we arrive at the Tesla Supercharger in North Bay, Ontario. And let's do another auto lane change to get around this crowd here. We have arrived here at the Tesla Supercharger in North Bay. Only one other car here. There is a pull-in spot down there, but I didn't take it just in case someone pulls in with a trailer. So I took the last stall to the right, and that way I'm not blocking any stalls for anyone else. So plugged in at 7%, I do believe, and we are at let me change this to a bigger, there we go. 110 kilowatts at, where's our percent now? I know how to read this one. So 9%, 95 kilowatts. So I'll check in at every 5% and we'll see what we're doing, and we can check out the charge curve here at the Tesla Supercharger. So at 10%, we are pulling 91 kilowatts. 10% check-in, 91 kilowatts. I thought we would have been up in the 120s, but ambient temperature 28. So yeah, I thought we'd be pulling a little bit more than this, but is the battery pack too warm? Is it too cold? We preconditioned for half an hour. Not really sure, but 91 isn't horrible, but we'll check in at 20%. 20% check-in, 86 kilowatts. We're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna go all the way back home, and at this point we are minus 49% to do that. So we're gonna be hanging out here for a while. 25% check-in, 83 kilowatts. 30%, 79 kilowatts. 35%, 78 kilowatts. 40%, 76. We missed the 45%, but we're at 46%, 77 kilowatts, so pretty steady right from start to finish. I was gonna charge here until I had enough to get home, but I think I'm gonna bail out and we're gonna go try this Petro Canada station down in Parry Sound. Kind of a detour to get home, different way. Right now it says I'm gonna arrive there with 9%. So we're gonna check that out. Hopefully it works. So we're gonna unplug and get out of here. So yeah, a little bit of an unexpected result there at the Tesla Supercharger. A little bit disappointing. I think the highest was when we plugged in at 95, 97%, something like that. I'll have to go back and look at the video, but so we're gonna go try a Petro Canada station in Parry Sound. They do not have a good reputation, but this one seems to be fine. It's got a 10 score on plug share. It is 200 kilowatt, where the Tesla was 250. I don't think there was anything wrong with the supercharger. I'm pretty sure it was what the car was requesting is what we were getting. So I'll have to check the amperage on 250 kilowatt superchargers and see what that is, and then we'll find out the amperage at this Petro Canada. So I think I'll just stay at the Petro Canada long enough to get me back to Barrie. And in Barrie, there's a 350 kilowatt Electrify Canada station. So we'll see if we can do some myth busting or myth confirming. And if that 350 kilowatt station in Barrie gets a better result, then the myth may be true, or the suspicion may be true, that you need a 350 kilowatt station to get the rated charging speed of 150 kilowatts or close to it. Yeah, interesting. So we are 1 hour and 32 minutes away from our charge stop in Parry Sound. Going to arrive there with 7% at this point, and I shouldn't have to do, it knows it's a fast charger, so it should do preconditioning if it needs to. And yeah, so this whole video was going to be Tesla. I was going to charge, enough to get back to Barrie, but with a disappointing result. Let's do some testing here and try to figure it out together and see what our best way to charge this machine is on a road trip. So we made it to the Petro Canada station here outside of Parry Sound, and just plugged in, and we'll see what we get. So 97 kilowatts, pulled in at 8%, I do believe. So if this is any indication, we are not going to get any higher at this one than we did at the Tesla Supercharger, but we will hang out and find out. 15% check-in, we hit 98. I don't think we're gonna hit 100. Maybe we will, but I have to charge about 22% to make it home, 125 kilometers. And we'll give Electrify Canada a try when we get back. But for now, I'm gonna go visit the restroom, so I won't do any more check-ins until I get back. Ooh, 99, can we hit 100? If we hit 100, then we did better than the Tesla Supercharger. We shall see. So we have a Volvo charging here. What are they getting for comparison? They are getting 47 kilowatts at 34%. We are getting 105 at 26. We broke 100. Woohoo! So we topped out at 106 kilowatts. Pretty good considering the Volvo over here is at like 47. So could be worse. You could have a Volvo. It could be the Charger. Could be the car, could be the Charger. Not familiar with how fast the Volvo is charged, but we only need a few more minutes. We would currently arrive at home with 0%, so we'll hang around until we are at 5% to get home. And we'll try Electrify Canada to complete our day of testing to see how this thing is on road trips. Obviously Tesla is probably not going to be my first choice based on what I saw today. Yeah. So we'll wait to get back to Barrie and we'll go from there. Oh, and I saw it blip to 107 there for a second. At 36%. 27 kilowatt hours delivered. $8, a lot cheaper than Tesla. So I will check in when I'm back on the road heading to Barrie, or maybe when we get back to Barrie, and we'll see what Electrify Canada can do for us if the 350 kilowatt charger is available. So with 28 minutes to the next charger in my hometown where I live, the message did pop up on the screen that the battery was preparing for fast charging because I am using the GPS to get there, so we know that automatic preconditioning works, so that's a good thing. Just want to mention here with 20 minutes left in the drive that when we left the last charging stop and put our destination in Google Maps, it said we would arrive with 3 or 4%, and we are now estimated to arrive with 7%, even though we've been ripping it at 125 kilometers an hour for the past hour, and the gusometer has actually gone up instead of down. So in the Tesla, I always found that, of course, the faster you go, you would start losing, you would start at, you're going to arrive with 7%, you were doing 120 kilometers an hour, it would slowly tick down, and sometimes you would actually have to slow down to get to your destination, where this one is very conservative and actually doing better than the estimate, and it feels like we got a bit of a headwind as well. So yeah, you can trust the gusometer. I would assume it was a little wonky first thing this morning for some reason, but it is what it is. It's been pretty solid the rest of the day. So we finally arrived back in Barrie at the Electrify Canada station. Just plugged in. Charging has started. We came in at 7%. So far just up to 95 kilowatts. So we're on the 350. It wasn't available when I got here. There was a Hyundai Ioniq charging. So we'll see what happens here. Hopefully we get some better speeds. We should be getting well over 100, but the station is, so there's a F-150 right beside me, so let's see what happens. So we still haven't broken 100 kilowatts yet. I'm very curious though what would happen when this Ford Lightning next door unplugs, because he's at 90%, so not sure what he's trying to get at, but very curious to see if the charger next door here would speed up if he, oh, there he goes. So he's done. Let's see what happens here. I'm thinking that the 350 would be on a different cabinet charger than the 150. Other than that, there is an Audi charging on one of the other chargers. There's 4 here. So he's been unplugged for a minute and we're still at 99 kilowatts. Interesting enough, the charger's reporting something, not a huge difference, but I don't think you can see it. I think it says 102 or 3. So different from what the car is reporting, but nonetheless, still not anywhere near 150. So not sure what to say. Maybe this isn't going to be a hot weather charging vehicle. I've seen others getting close to 150, if not a couple kilowatts over on a 350, but you can never tell if it's the charger, if it's the car. I don't think the chargers say what the car is requesting, which would be interesting to know. All chargers should say that. How much is the car asking for and how much is the charger giving? Oh, so we hit 100 and according to the car, according to the charger, 104. And we have a Hyundai Ioniq pulling in here, so he's probably upset that I'm taking his 350 kilowatt charger. So we'll get out of here shortly and stay out of people's way. It is a weekend. That'll conclude the test for today, and yeah, I'm not sure what we learned. But it was a fun day, nice road trip. And beer store's closed. That's no good. Alright, so 23%, 100 kilowatts. I think that's probably all we're going to get out of it. Not terrible, but not impressive either. So that will do it. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see any more videos on the Equinox, let me know and I will try to do that.